gonna meet Jose Canseco again today for like the 7th time. So we're at the end of Sunday and people are already packing up. Oh, that's interesting. So usually what I do is I take a photo for the header image on the blog post, and I haven't done that yet. And I'm really late on, ooh, that's really nice. I can get in on this corner. I usually get these photos like Friday, Thursday. We're gonna see a National Convention memorabilia showcase, like memorabilia stuff from the National Convention. So let's go check it out.
I didn't realize how much you have. Here's all these pins, tip passes.
What year is that one?
This is the first.
First? Wow, look at that.
Atlanta City one. LA one. Just giving you people in the hobby from 1940s and 50s. This is trade magazines.
Really?
Early conventions.
The 5th National Sports Collectors Convention here.
Second national.
The 2nd program? Wow, this is the 83 in Chicago.
So he had a.
Look at that. That is really cool. I met the guy who played Hellraiser in the latest Hellraiser movie. Really nice guy. He lives here in Texas. Super, super cool guy. I wanted to talk to him more. I hope he shows up at a future to do signings again. It's like a bank of knowledge on movies. Really cool guy. I got to meet also David Mantle, Mickey Mantle's son. Really cool guy. Super nice. What's up? This is Patrick of Radicards, and today or tonight we're going to be going over my review of the May 19th through 22nd, 2022 Dallas Card Show. It's been weeks since that show happened. I've been really busy with other higher priority deliverables on for my company, so I had to remember what I wanted to talk about. And what I do is I create these little agendas per show now, and so I can remember what to discuss. So I, don't forget any important points. Really fun time. Obviously, they're always good times to go to these shows. I always meet up with new and existing people. I found some really great stuff at this show, and the stuff we're going to be talking about is what I feel are the best pieces of the things I bought. So let's jump right into it here. First things first is this 1990 Donruss blank back Kelly Mann. This was given to me by Mr. Andrew. So this is Andrew. So this is his inventory. It's mostly Pokemon and Garbage Pail Kids, as you can tell. That guy's laughing about that joke. Andrew's great at banter, and I stop off at his booth and just joke around with him a lot. He's a super, super cool guy. He and there's a couple of the guys that kind of work his little area with him. Really nice guy. So thanks, Andrew, if you're watching this. The Kelly Mann card, every time I see that I think of Kevin Mass, because KM and they kind of have the same phonetics or similar phonetics, but obviously it's not Kevin Mass. Kevin Mass didn't even have a 1990 Donruss card. 1990 Donruss. Frank Thomas didn't even have an Upper Deck or a Donruss from 1990. Odd that they didn't include him even in the rookies sets for 1990 Donruss. In any case, I got this Kelly Mann. Really cool to have it. I remember he showed it to me earlier in the week, because I think he gave this to me on Sunday. And I was like, oh, that's cool. You got the 1990 Donruss Kelly Mann. So random. Cool stuff, though. I like this. So thanks, Andrew. This next one is I picked up another 2002 Leaf Certified Materials Mirror Black replacement. So this one doesn't have the serial number on the back. It's Carlos Lee. This was in a bargain bin. Got it for really cheap. I was really happy to get that. There's a dealer at these shows who has a whole spread of these. And so when I see a whole bunch, it's kind of I lose interest a little bit when I see a ton of one thing that's rare. I'm like, oh, there's a bajillion of them now. I don't really know if I want one. But it's kind of cool. I like that. I got this for a good bargain. Much better price than the other 2 or 3 I got last year. In any case, I was glad to get that. This next one is Nolan Ryan 1992 Topps Gold with silver foil instead of gold foil. Now, At the 2015 National, I picked up the other Nolan Ryan card in this set, because this is the subset card. The actual base card of Nolan Ryan, I picked up that silver foil variation at the 2015 National. You can go back in the archives and watch the footage of that review if you wanted to. I like showcase it or whatever. It's a long time ago now. But I was kind of cool to see this one in a bargain bin. I mean, most of this stuff, actually, all of this stuff, except for one card we'll talk about here in a bit, was in bargain bins. So, cool stuff. I was glad to get that. Kind of a nice card for my Nolan Ryan collection. So this next card comes with a story, and there was a vendor, a newer vendor. I hadn't met these people before. They have a new shop in Louisville. Super cool people. And their inventory was incredible. I spent most of my money at this table. I went back. So I spent time on Thursday, went back on Friday, and just dug around and spent more money with them. And I probably bought more, I think, on even Saturday. Whatever the case, I found some really nice pieces in there, and we'll talk about two of them specifically here. This first one is Ryan Sandberg, 1996 Circa Rave. This is serial number to 150. Now, if you've been watching my videos, you might remember I broke a box of this relatively recently. My buddy Steven bought it, and we didn't pull a single Rave out of the whole box. Well, this is the Ryan Sandberg. It's a super tough card to pull these. I don't know what the pack insertion ratio is on it, but it'd have to be rarer than one a box. It'd be more boxes than just one. It'd be like one per multiple boxes. But in either case, I got this Ryan Sandberg 1996 Circa Rave, and it was like, I think when I handed up the stack, I think I maybe calculated the Sandberg at like $8 as the purchase, because I think they wanted like 15, and I was calculating it out like what I would pay or whatever, and I handed them the stack, and then they countered, and so I just kind of like mathematically calculated about $8 for this particular card. So I have this stack, and I call Steven. I'm like, Steven, let's go eat. So I have this stack of cards. I'm sitting there waiting for Steven. And then a friend of mine comes up from another one of the other like businesses that shows up. I've made friends with these people. And then one guy comes up with a beer. I think he's a little tipsy. Still like great guy, whatever. And he looks through the stack and he pulls out the Sandberg. He's like, I'll buy this one. And I'm thinking to myself, well, it's not for sale. It's like my collection. And Steven's like, dude, Patrick's not going to sell any of this stuff. He's a collector. And so my friend, he like offered me $100 right there. I was like, no. He's like, $200. I was like, nah. And he's like, $200, 3 seconds. I was like, nah, 3, 2, 1, done. And he walks off. And then the next day he gives me a hard time about it. Or it was like 2 days later, like the next day he gave me a hard time about it. And then the following day he gave me a hard time about it again. So it must have been Friday night that we talked. And then, yeah, right. This was Friday night. And he gave me a hard time on Sunday. And he was like really upset that I didn't sell him this card. And it doesn't matter to me. Like I'm not interested in like I don't go to shows for that purpose. I go to shows to like find stuff in my collection and blogging and video. He got really upset on like Sunday, and I was like surprised by that actually. He wanted to get it for his friend. He's like, "You're really happy?" And I was like, "Yeah, but." He was telling me his friend like works all the time, doesn't get to shows, and I'm thinking to myself, what's a better use of this card? Like, who's the better owner? Is it somebody who works constantly and doesn't have time to enjoy their collection? This card's just going to get filed on a desk somewhere, or someone like me who's going to appreciate it and put it in with my Ryan Sandberg collection, and really appreciate the design and talk about it with you on video. I mean, what difference does it make what other people think? It's my card. I do what I want with it, right? That's the thing. So I had no problem passing up that deal. And, like the Ozzie Smith sold for almost $400 that week. And I'm like, Ryan Sandberg, I know some pretty dedicated Ryan Sandberg fans. So in my head, I was thinking this card was going to be worth more than $200 if I wanted to sell it. Whatever the case, it does not matter. I just hope my buddy's not going to be too mad at me for too long over me turning him down. In any case, that's the funny story around the Ryan Sandberg, is that I bought this card and was put in a somewhat uncomfortable situation with somebody offering me money and me turning him down and him getting upset. And so I thought that was kind of interesting, but good time nonetheless. Kind of a fun story behind the Ryan Sandberg 1996 Circa Rave to 150. This next one was found in it was like a $2 card. It was in the same bin as I found the Sandberg. This is a Vlad Guerrero, 1999 Upper Deck Century Legends Century Collection to 100. So really cool, like edging, like there's like a die cut edge. Really great cards. Oh, I even forgot. We'll talk about this other one. I forgot to put that here. See, so much time has passed, but we'll talk about this one coming up here in a sec. But anyway, I was really glad to get this card because it comes from that parallel set, the Century Collections. Such a rad piece, and I was so I put that away, and there were so many great cards. And they were like Gold Sig Bonds and Gold Sig Griffey, and like just a carnival of different great cards. I spent some money with this guy, but it was just I couldn't pass up these deals. It was just such great cards. But these are some of the highlights. So I was glad to get that. And speaking of 1999 Upper Deck Century Legends Century Collections to 100, I found this Babe Ruth. It's a low-grade BGS, but I don't care. It's such an awesome card to have in the collection. I was so happy to get it, find it. It was like all the way in the back. There were a couple graded cards in front of it, and there was this card, and I was like, oh my gosh, such a great card to get. I was super stoked. So yeah, it must have been Thursday I got the Ruth, and then Friday I picked up the Sandberg. That's what it was, because I had the Ruth. It was graded, and I took it home, and I came back the next day and bought more stuff from this, because they had more boxes I didn't go through. That's what it was. But such a rad card to have. I'm so pleased to have gotten this into my collection. Such a great piece. But between those two, I mean, I was thinking to myself, gosh, I got that on Thursday. I don't think I'm going to be able to beat this deal. Like, this card is like the highlight of this show, this Ruth card. Super pleased. It's funny, I'm like showcasing it around and showing it off, and I almost felt like I was the only one who was excited about that card, but whatever. Such a rad piece to have. So I got that. That's the Babe Ruth 1999 Upper Deck Century Legends Century Collection to 100 Slava BGS. And this next one I found, this guy's had like a, I don't remember if it was it was a box on his like booth, on his table, and they were like nicer baseball and football inserts. I mean, I say nicer is like $15 is kind of nice. I offered $8 for this Todd Helton, and he took it. So this is Todd Helton 2002 Upper Deck 40-man Electric Rainbow to 40. I've seen a lot of rainbows to 40s over the years, and I think it was the 2017 National in Chicago. Like, I had like one of those like plastic snap cases, like the 100 card or whatever, and it was full of these. Mostly commons, and I grabbed the Travis Lee and the Cliff Floyd out of the box. But you just don't see them that often. Like, I was surprised to see the brick of them at that time. Kind of cool, but glad to get the Helton for cheap. I like Helton. I always liked. He's a great hitter. If you look at his stats and Derek Jeter's stats, Helton played for fewer years, but his career batting average was higher than Jeter's. He also hit more home runs than Jeter. Jeter had more hits than Helton. Jeter also played a few more years than Helton, but kind of a cool contrast. Helton's slugging percentage and his on-base percentage and his OPS, on-base plus slugging, were all higher than Jeter's. Such cool little facts there. So, one more baseball card, then we'll talk about 2 football cards, which is kind of cool. This next one is the Don Baylor Dusty Baker 1971 Topps rookie. This is a PSA 3. I've wanted a graded one for a while. These can get pricey pretty fast. Like from a 3 to a 4, 4 to a 5. Like they can get expensive pretty quickly. It's one of the high numbers. So it potentially could qualify as like an SP. But it's also got the black border, so it's condition sensitive. This one has actually pretty good centering on it. It's not the prettiest copy, but it's a 3. Like, you can't ask for much. But I've always liked this card. And, when I bought this, I couldn't initially agree on the price with the seller. And he was with Andrew, the guy I was, like, bantering with the Kelly Man. And Andrew sold me a 71 Topps Don Baylor Dusty Baker rookie. And I said to him, I said, if I give you a trivia question and you have unlimited responses and you get it, then I will... I shouldn't have done that. It should have been a limited response and I get it for my price. But I was just goofing around with them because I knew that this guy wasn't going to come down on his price. And I just wanted to talk trivia because I like that. So my trivia question was, what pitcher was on a World Series team in 3 different decades? And after several guesses, Andrew got it right. But I mean, had I not given him like 10 chances or 5 chances, whatever it was multiple chances. Who knows? And so it's just kind of an interesting thing. I actually passed on the deal initially, and then I came back around on Sunday and bought this card right before I left the show. And so I was glad to get it. I think I upset the guy for not buying it after that. I was like, but I gave you guys a limited response. Like, I don't get anything out of that. It's kind of funny. But I think I upset him initially. I'm pissing people off at these shows. You know, I don't mean to. It's just happening. In any case, I was really glad to get this Don Baylor Dusty Baker 1971 Topps dual rookie card as a PSA 3. Really glad to get that. You know, it's like, I like low grade because I don't have to fork over an arm. Here's my left arm for this high grade whatever. I can just like, oh, here's like 2 weeks of allowance and I'll buy this card. You remember when we used to get allowance? Remember we were young and we used to get allowance? At least I did. My mom used to give me like, initially it was $2 a week. And I'd go spend it on like comic books or whatever, baseball cards at the comic book shop. So cool to think about those memories. In any case, those are the key baseball cards I picked up at this particular installment of the Dallas Card Show. Let's jump into football cards here. I picked up this Drew Bledsoe 2001 EX Essential Credentials to $2.99. This one was cheap. It was in one of the bins with the like Sandberg and the Ruth and the Vlad. And it was just in one of the piles I handed over. I was like, yeah, I'll get that. It was a few bucks. I was glad to get that. Those are cool. Those have kind of come up a bit over the last couple of years. Last year, I'd say they've picked up some steam. The print run is to $2.99 though. They're available. They're out there. Anyway, I got that. This next one is Joe Flacco 2019 Select Prism Neon Orange Pulsar to 11. So the print run on this one is 11 of 11, which is kind of cool. And I saw this, I was like, this is kind of a cool card to have, and it was cheap. It was, you know, I think it was less than $5. Like, of course I'm going to grab that. That's kind of a fun thing to get. I guess Flacco had a contract that he was like paid massive money and he didn't perform. Like that was his like call to like fame, was getting this massive contract. I was glad to get this. This is a cool card, kind of a fun add to the collection. It's low dollar for me, not a big deal, but probably if this had come out during his prime, around the time where he was like touted as this monster player, it probably would have brought more than like $3 to $5, I would imagine. Anyway, those are my pickups from my key pickups anyway. I got other things at the show, but these are my talking points from the May 19th through 2022 Dallas Card Show. They're just such great shows. If you get a chance to come down to the Dallas area, try to get to one of these shows. They are just fantastic. There's another show this coming weekend, a smaller one here, I think in Plano. Now, we're going to kind of like change gears a little bit. My buddy Rich put on a show in Plano in May 29th to 30th, which is the following week. And it was a 2-day show, Sunday and Monday. Kind of an odd time to have a show on Sunday and Monday, but I went on Sunday and it was awesome. It's a really great little venue. I predict it'll kind of grow as it becomes more of like mainstream like exposure, because I saw a lot of the normal fellas who show up at the Dallas Card Show at this one. So I had familiar faces. It was good to see them. I did a lot of 10-cent bargain bin digging in this show, and I picked up probably a few hundred cards that show. I'm only going to be talking about one card. This is the classic Rickey Henderson 1980 Topps rookie. It's got a crease down the center on the y-axis. I didn't care. I got it for $10. I'm like, I'll get that for $10. It's part of a deal, and everything else was like cheap, like 25-cent, 50-cent dollar stuff. And then I had the Rickey Henderson, and I just offered calculated out, and gentleman was countered and I accepted. And so I calculated a Ricky with the crease through it at $10. That's fine. I've got better examples of this card. I've got 2 that are in my to be graded box. I don't know when that'll ever happen. I've been putting stuff in that box for like 10 years. I don't know how long it's going to be before I submit this. Like, I think it costs like $2,000 to send this in or whatever, $4,000 or something. But eventually I'll have all that stuff graded. When I see this card, I'm always reminded of a memory I had when I was a kid living in Alaska. And my brother collected cards at the time, my oldest brother. And he always wanted this Ricky Henderson. At the time, it was worth like $80 or $90 or something. It was like, at the time where the 86 Donruss Canseco was like a $90 card. It was like around that time. Because the A's had just huge power back then. But I remember thinking, gosh, would it be great to have this 1980 Topps Ricky Henderson? Back then, it was just like so out of reach for me because I was making $2 an allowance every week. And so the stuff I was buying was like 88 Topps, 88 Score, 88 Donruss. My brother was like, man, I'd really love to have the Ricky Henderson rookie. Because this was at a time when players had just one rookie card. Because it predated other brands by a year. 80 was still 80 just Topps. We just had Topps. And so Ricky Henderson had his rookie card in that run. It was also the same year that Ozzie Smith had the second year card. And you could get, obviously you've got third year of Eddie Murray. And just classic cards in that set. But the Ricky Henderson is the cornerstone. So when I saw this in a bin, it was like in the back, and I'm like, okay, it was also next to Mark McGwire, 85 Topps, which is another classic, but I just wanted to get the Henderson. So I grabbed this, really glad to get it. Such a classic thing, and I'm always reminded of that memory even now, and I think about this card, like my brother talking about this card. We were in the hallway, down like close to where my mom's and my parents' room was, and like my brother Aaron's room was, and the lighting on the top. I remember it was just like, and we were talking about this card in the hallway, upstairs. It was just such a weird time. I was a young kid too, and I think about this. I'm like, every time I look at the Ricky Henderson 80 Topps, I'm reminded of that memory. And I've seen this card countless times over the years, and I've owned many of them. I still own many of them, but kind of a cool ad. You know, and you know, that was just such a fun time. Rich's show, he did such a great job. And you buy in the ticket, and he gives you a bag of cards, and you can buy more bags of cards for $1 each. I might do that next time just because it's fun to go through a stack of cards for $1. You know, most of it's stuff I don't really collect, but it's kind of fun to go through. There's some Hall of Famers in there. It's kind of it's great. It's a cool deal. Rich does such a good job with shows, and I'm glad he's able to produce a show again, because they were out of it for a while. They weren't he wasn't setting up shows for a while. Something about location or whatever, but it's all been squared away. So definitely check out those shows when you get a chance. If you know Rich, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, he's at the Dallas Card Shows. He works at CMC. He's their catalog maintenance manager. He used to work at Beckett for like long time. I used to see his name in the magazines when I was a kid. That was my key pickup from Rich's show in Plano later last month. So those are my keys from the Dallas Card Show and Rich's show in May. And I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know in the comments section which one of the cards like resonated with you, which one you like the most. I always like to hear your comments. Thank you again for tuning into Radicards TV and Radicards.com. I'm your host, Patrick Reno, and until next time, enjoy collecting.
If you like this content, please subscribe. Thank you. Enjoy collecting.